Welcome. This video is the second part of the user interface of Substance Painter, so please stay with me. Let's start by talking these sections from here, here, and here. At first, let's close all of them and import our first project, Armature, use UV tiles, OpenGL, and 1K. Okay, we'll begin with the texture set list. Here you can see all the separated parts we've done based on the materials in our 3D modeling software. You can turn off different parts from here, uh, hide all, show all, for example, invert show or off layers, and something like this. This window is one of the most important ones we work with out of our projects, and this part is can changeable. For example, uh, you can change these. You can change the materials for these parts or these parts in your 3D modeling software, and after then the importing your 3D model into Substance Painter, you can see these parts are changed. Okay, the next window is texture set setting. Oh, okay, okay. Texture set setting, uh, in general properties, you can see the name of your texture you choose from the texture set list. As I said, this window is one of the important windows, and you can change the size of viewport from here 1K, 2K, or 4K. And you can choose your shader setting from here. For example, you want to uh, work these parts with PBR Metal Rough workflow, okay? And you want to work these uh, parts with another shader. So you can change it from here. In the channels, as I mentioned before, each shader has default channels, and you can add additional channels from this section. For example, I choose PBR Metal Rough, and one, two, three, four, five. These are the main and the basic channels you have in the PBR Metal Rough workflow. You can add ambient occlusion, emissive, scattering, displacement, and something like that. But as you can see, these channels are unsupportable, support uns, unsupported by this shader. For example, if you want to add the opacity channel and you want to make something like glass in Substance Painter, you need to change your uh, shader setting from here. For example, you want to make a glass and you need to change your shader to this, And as you can see, the opacity channel is here. Okay. Okay, one, two, three, four, five. Okay. Uh, the default uh, settings are for these parts are okay. Don't touch these buttons if you don't know what it is. And from here, you can import your baked textures here, and you can bake your project from this part again. Okay. The third window is the layers. In the last chapter's exercise, you come familiar with this. You can see and edit everything you assign into the 3D models here. You can drag and drop everything you want here. And personally, I've gotten used to working here. Here is okay for me. Properties. This part shows the details of everything you apply to the 3D model. If you apply paint, you have the paint setting and details here. For example, look, nothing show here, but if you add a layer, for example, paint, you see all the paint settings and paint details here. So I want to see these properties in my right of the viewport. Okay. For example, add another fill layer, color. All settings are here. Okay. Another window is the display setting. You can choose your view mode from material to your channels. CB, you see, CCM. Your baked textures are here, mesh maps, and everything you want. From this part, you can choose your environments and HDRIs. For example, okay, look at here. As you can see, the light is changing. These are the default environments of this software. You can add your custom environments if you want. And this is the environment opacity, environment exposure. If you want, you can change it, environment blur or environment rotation. As you can see, shift with right click of the mouse. Environment align, I think the word is better than the camera, so don't choose it. Choose the camera. Here you can see the shadows. You can on it or off it, shadow opacity, and the camera settings. our focal length is for default is 17. For example, 55, maybe 100. Okay, sorry. And you can uh, active your post effects into your viewport. For example, color correction is for saturation, contrast, brightness, bias, or something like that. For example, vignette. And active color profile. For example, I always choose Rec 709 and play with these to turn it what I want. For example, it depends on your project, on your materials. They should be changed. So this one and where is it? Where is it? Where is it? One. Okay. Where is Tomoko Studio? Tomoko. Okay. Mm, you can change this to very high, to high, or low, or medium. And this is the wireframe. Okay. And with this option, you can see your wireframes and change your color and show grids. Can turn it off. Grids color, grid opacity, and something like that. Okay, let's turn it off the wireframe. Okay. Okay, another window is the shader setting. At the beginning, you can choose your template from here. If you didn't choose, you can choose your shader from here. It depends on your projects. You can choose a different shaders. For example, this is for Dota 2 game, PBR Metaraf, PBR Metaraf with alpha blending, uh, with alpha test, PBR specular glossiness, PBR velvet. You can study more about the details of these shaders. And this is the specular quality, low, medium, high. It depends on your PC or laptops. Hardware, you can choose what you want. AO intensity, uh, every default settings are okay, I think. But uh, as I said, you can study more, and it depends on your projects. You can change it. Geometry, entire, and this is the displacement and tessellation part. Uh, let's make something very basic into Blender. Okay, okay, Shift A, a very basic plane. and subdivide, 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 subdivide. Okay, let's export it as an FBX file, desktop, plain. Then let's import to Substance Painter and bake it as a 2K, bake textures. Okay, I want to show you something cool, and this is about the height map. Tile generator, pattern, square, no, brick. Mm, yeah, this is cool. As you can see, you have a range of the height tessellation as a default. But with this part, you can change your height scale and tessellation scale. This is very ugly height, but if you choose edge length, you can. Wow, this is incredible. Okay, and you can make the patterns and turn your Substance Painter into Substance Designer, I think, and add a, for example, I don't know, uh, different filter like a bevel generator. Whoa, why generator? Sorry, filter and bevel, and smooth it. Wow, and play with the different parameters. Okay, for example, with the only height data channel, we make this cool uh, details, and this is something like the metal sheet heights. Let's complete it together. Smooth. Okay. This is cool. And you can add another filter. These are for the next part, but I want to show something cool to see what we are doing in the next part. And for example, warp, add a warp, uh, custom noise, for example, cloud 2. Come on, man. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, oh, okay. So with the displacement and tessellations, you can make something cool for your projects with only height and normal maps. Normals, not this normal, normals and the height. Okay, M. And just add a metal material, for example, into smart materials. And okay, you can play with these all parameters and make something cool and maybe unreal. Okay, very well. And one of the important parts of this software is the asset library. Here, as you can see, we have different parts: materials, smart masks, filters, brushes, alphas, textures, and environments. These environments, all of them are here. You can change your environments from here and just drag it, drop, and ta-da, the environment is changed. As you can see, this part is changed too. Okay, let's start with the materials. Let's import our 3D model again. Okay, let's bake it with 2K. No, 1K is okay for our this section. Okay, the bake is finished. We have one simple difference between materials and smart materials. For example, you are a material artist, and of course you are, and you make something like this leader, okay, into Substance Designer. Come on, go on. Oh, my Substance Painter, I think, crashed. Sorry. Give me a second to fix this bug. Okay, now everything is okay. Sorry for that problem. Okay, for example, you make this uh, texture into Substance Designer, and you add this material into your Substance Painter shelf, and you see all the parameters like this. For example, you choose the accessibility to the uh, artists and other artists. For example, the colors, color variations, roughness, leader density, head triple color. And as you can see, the user only changed these parameters, and the parameters uh, you accessibility to the user. For example, uh, these parameters uh, are not the same with this leader. As you can see, Maybe some parameters are changed, maybe some parameters are not here. You see, these are the materials, for example, you made into Substance Designer. But smart materials are 100% made into Substance Painter. This is the differences between materials and smart materials. Uh, as I think, the smart materials format is the SPSM. Where is it? Okay, nothing here show. But the smart materials formats are SPSM. But I think the materials formats are SPSAR. Okay, so remember this. With the smart materials, you can change 100% of the all parameters. As you can see, for example, the base color, leader pattern, dirt, damage. For example, let's um, off these layers, and as you can see, change your base color, change your everything you want, and change your leader pattern, tiling of the leader pattern, and everything you want. This is the dirt. Change the dirt color into, for example, red. Play with these different uh, uh, what is this? Blending modes. For example, this is the screen. And Alt, with just one click, you can see the mask of the this layer. Only this layer. Okay? Balance and M. Here we go. Dirt, dirt contrast, and everything you want. But as I said, we will talking about these generators, filters, levels, and these all options into the next video. So don't miss it. And this is the damage. For example, I don't like this damage, so just turn off the layer. Or I want to change it with another mask or with another textures, so you can easily change the uh, parameters. Okay, this is the biggest differences between materials and smart materials. This is the started asset. uh, as you can see, the default assets into Substance Painter shelf is these are, but uh, you can make your own different materials, make your own different smart materials, and add into your library. Or okay, for example, fabric, and add this fabric into my project. As I said, you can make your own materials and your own smart materials, and you have another way. You can buy them from uh, different marketplaces, for example, the Lee Artist Studio marketplace or another marketplaces. Uh, okay, the next button is the smart masks. What is the smart masks? For example, you want to mix two different materials together. This material and this material. 1K. Okay. You can easily drag and drop your smart masks. For example, dirt dry, and as you can see, two different materials are mixed together. Look here. Okay. Another mask, for example, two soft edges. You see, for example, I want to change this color to better understanding. Or, for example, copy and paste it here. Control, oh, come on. Sorry. Control A, Control C, and Control V, and something like that. And you can easily change the mask parameters from here, and mask, you can go here and see only your mask and change your texture, image, and M. Okay, these masks are uh, works with smart materials too. So for example, let's go to the metal part, delete, and these are just for the testing. These are not the our final texturing for this project, so remember this. For example, not dust, come on, this aluminum, and this is still gone. Okay, for example, type something like edge and add it here. Very well. That's it. So, let's talk about these buttons: filters, brushes, uh, alphas, and textures. In the next video, to more familiar with this software, after that, let's go to the our first project, this file, and make something cool to this our 3D model, and that's it. See you soon.